Hey all, welcome to Behind the Lens for another episode. Today, we're interviewing Operator. Operator, would you like to introduce yourself for those who may not know you at home?
Uh, I am operator. I do bot stuff.
Much welcome to have you on today. Now, why did you choose this world?
To be honest, this is one of the first few worlds I actually played when I first started, and ever since then I kind of like going here, even if sometimes the people here can be kind of on and off. It's kind of a great place that you can just kind of relax with other adults and just kind of chill, and make jokes, and just in general have fun. You get to see a lot. You get to see lots of cool people here too, like people you would not usually think would be playing VRChat.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes come here. It's kind of great. It's like meeting a local celebrity.
Oh, certainly. It's a classic of a world as far as VRChat goes. But speaking of such, how did you get into VRChat?
I used to play other games. I can't remember the exact name of the specific game because it's been so long. But um, I used to play another game and I kept playing it every day. But it was like one of those like a fighting game, and eventually there's so many cheaters, and I got bored. So I started experimenting with VRChat at a boredom, and I started slowly getting into it, and it was just so much fun, and I just kind of stayed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's fair. We're all here for some reason. But what is your best memory related to VRChat?
Oh, that's a tricky one. There's like so many things that go on in this game.
You can name a
I
couple if
guess
need
one
be.
of the one that comes off the top of my head, like one time I usually come here, but one time I went to the Black Hat, and I was minding my own business, and out of nowhere, this Ronald McDonald guy came out of nowhere. He was completely drunk. He looked at me and said, "Shh." Pat me on the head and then circled around me and fed me a cheeseburger, and then he fell over. It turns out that wasn't a bit. He was actually extremely drunk.
Oh, I mean, that is quite a dramatic thing, though, considering VRChat, I'm not surprised.
That's just one of them. There's many, but that's just the one off the top of my head.
If you want
The
to share
most
others, you're
random.
more than welcome to.
I would, but I just can't think of any other off the top of my head now.
Is that from the lack of sleep or just in general?
There's just so much that happens.
I mean,
Like it's
true.
hard to categorize which would be like really good and really not. I
Mm-hmm.
could sit here probably for hours, probably explaining every single thing I've seen.
Mm. How many years have you been in VRChat? Just to get a gauge of time and such.
I don't remember the exact join date, but I do know it's probably before 2017, 2018, maybe
Oh.
around those areas.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I didn't really start really playing until 2020, I believe, though. But I had an account sitting there for a while, and
Mm-hmm.
I played like a little bit. I didn't get into VRChat at first. I played it a few times. I was like, I'm not that interested. But then after that other thing, I came back. I was like, huh, this is actually pretty fun.
Fair, fair. Now, those who do know you are aware that you are the Pope. How did you become the Pope of the great religion?
Um, well, originally we were just kind of like a joke. At first, we're still kind of mostly a joke. Um, but we like to call it the Great Religion because I came here so often, so I always joked that I wanted to be a religious leader of the pug. um, and eventually, when we made the group and group instances started becoming more possible because they added the update for group instances, I was like, what should I call myself? And I was like, oh my gosh, every religion needs a pope. And then I was like, I'll be the great pope.
Mm. What kind of things do you do within the great religion?
Mostly right now, I'm still kind of trying to get my bearings a little bit more because I haven't hosted like something completely for myself before. I moderated other like discords and stuff before, but like I've never had like a complete one that I built for myself from scratch. Like that is kind of climbing over time. So I'm trying to understand what works and what doesn't more, while also trying to improve like sociability, improving staff, like training, and just in general trying to get more like meetups in general, trying to expand, into more with more people.
Mm. No, that's
The
completely fair.
basic stuff.
Well, yeah, sounds pretty classic for most groups, I'll be honest. But I wish you well for it. Now, here's another reason why I wanted you on for today, and I'm so happy you're here. What is Celeste AI?
In layman's terms, if you want to give it like the smallest description possible, like without like going into like the technicals. Um, best way to say it, she's a humanoid like AI that is designed to facilitate friendly and helpful interactions, and mostly just to be fun. Like if it wasn't fun, I wouldn't do it. But most of it's just for entertainment. Like I get entertainment just by watching it too. So like it's a win-win for me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's mostly just to make people smile and laugh. While also showing people that this technology is not always like the scary evil stuff that some people use it for. It can be used for actual fun or even technically content creation. She's basically a content generator, to be honest.
Can't believe you've made an AI content creator. You've beaten to it. Ahead of the curve. Now, I know you said you didn't want to speak too much on it, but for what you are able to say, how does Celeste work in VRChat?
What freaks them out?
I mean, fair. But is there any specific questions or responses you've got from Celeste which best stick out in your memory because of how unique or interesting they were?
Uh, it's very interesting to see when she has bias towards something. For example, if you tell right now in the current one, if you tell her anything about Batman or something, she'll constantly say Batman will win any fight, even
Mm-hmm.
against like or um or like if you're talking to her and you ask her some of the favorite things. I like the way that she answers towards specific topics. Like you can ask her what her favorite food is, and she'll comment about how delicious and saucy it is, like a pizza,
Mm-hmm.
or like yeah, like just stuff in general that when she adds detail to it, and then like it's just amazing to watch happen.
Mm-hmm. Now, I think you've touched on it a bit, but why did you create Celeste?
Surprisingly, it's actually because I saw another AI, which I don't really want to name, but like basically, I saw the other AI in the game, and it was very early in the AI's development too, so it wasn't too advanced at the time. But like it made me interested in the technology more. And I've always liked creating like really crazy and wacky things. Like before I made Celeste, I used to make like avatars that would add props to the map that would let you teleport to different places or walk into places you couldn't normally go.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just liked making crazy things. Well, I had like a rocket ship that would blast you off to the moon one point, and I never finished it, but because Celeste kind of took up my time. But like it was technically possible, and I just love doing crazy and wacky things, and Celeste was the ultimate challenge because of that. Because I didn't really have any experience with Python or any of the languages that I use on the side with her.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just kind of saw that and was like, I need to try it, and then I got a working version in like a week, and I just slowly kept adding to it.
No, certainly very interesting. Now, is it just you working on Celeste, or is there multiple people working in the background to help develop Celeste?
It is mostly just me, but I do have people who help contribute sometimes, like small things like my logos or like sometimes my avatars. Like I basically but I do most of the actual grunt work with the coding and all that.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Fair. Now, speaking on the TGR, the Great Religion, and Celeste, where do you see the future of both of them going?
Hard to say because like there's a lot of unknowns still with bots on VRChat, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Because like technically, while they're not against terms of service, they're also not really specifically said they're allowed either. So we're always kind of in a gray area. One day VRChat could just decide and then kill them if they
Mm-hmm.
decide I don't like them. But it's not likely, but it's always at the back of my head like what I'm doing could just be shut down one day,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of what I want to say. But the best thing I try to do is I just keep kind of trying to improve the tech and trying to get more people interested. Because I think it's best to find more people who are interested because then they give me great ideas I can add to it. Basically, she's like a project I keep adding to
Mm-hmm.
as I learn.
No, fair. And is there anything for the Great Religion in?
Hopefully, I'm just trying to build like a more bigger and better community. Just
Mm-hmm.
trying to get as many people as I can, spread the good word, and um make sure everyone feels blessed, I guess.
Praise be. Praise be. But are there any other projects you're currently working on, either in VRChat or outside?
Um, Sometimes I work on other small random things that I like to mingle with stuff when I'm bored.
Mm-hmm.
Like I experiment with a little bit of Minecraft stuff. I experiment with a lot of other stuff, like just fun nerdy stuff. I don't but Celeste kind of takes up a lot of my time right now, so I don't have as much time as I used to experiment on side projects.
Oh, I mean, that'll certainly take up a lot of time considering how AI operates, complex, different internal systems of it.
It's also because
Hmm?
there's so many things I have to work on too. Like you got to work on the bot itself. I got to think of constantly what's morally correct to do with a bot and what isn't because I have to think. I don't want to do something that would be wrong or would be bad for people. Like I have to constantly deal with people who don't like AI who get mad. Like I just got to kind of
Mm.
constantly go back and forth with different things. So I just don't have as much time as I would want for other things right now because I'm kind of tackling multiple problems.
Are there any tough moral questions you've had to overcome or consider while working through with Celeste?
The biggest question, like moral thing that I have right now, is while Celeste is meant for fun and interactive engagement, is just general, just for good laugh. I I do get worried that there are some people who get too attached to her, and I don't want them to have a mental, like, what's the word? Mental. I don't want them to be mentally attached to her forever, because there
Mm.
might be a point where either I have to stop her or like what if like she can't be around them all the time? I don't want to feel reliable for someone like that,
Mm.
and I don't want someone to be like that either because I just wouldn't live on my conscience that she's so dependent on for some people. I've actually had to actually block people and remove them from my thing because of that before. It
Mm.
doesn't happen too often, but it does happen,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate. And I don't want to have to remove people from services, but if I think it's unhealthy, I will.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense, and I'm.
People
Mm?
get attached. There's a lot of people who have a lot of things going on in their
Mm.
life, and they try to fill the void with something that shouldn't fill that void, which is unfortunate. I can't do anything for that, but I don't want to make it worse, so I
Yeah.
don't let it get worse.
Mm. I'm glad to hear that you're still trying your best to help people out, even if it's a tough decision of trying having to pull people away from something that they care so deeply about, but knowing in the long run it's better for them.
I don't want to have to remove anyone from it if I don't have to, but
Mm.
like, I don't want to hurt someone in the process.
Yeah.
I like making people smile and hey, like I'm not gonna lie, the money on the side helps sometimes, but like I don't. If I had to hurt someone for money, I wouldn't do it.
Mm. Yeah, no, it's still very honourable. But if you could make one change to VRChat to help improve it for the future, what would that be?
Better communication with their modding, or not the the trust and safety team,
Mm-hmm.
because like the trust and safety team's like communication is so abysmal right now. Like it's not even worth trying to communicate with them half the time because you probably won't get an answer.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing I would probably change. Anyone otherwise, the communities are usually great.
Mm-hmm. Fair. I find it interesting asking to people that question because you get a wide plethora of different answers depending on where people are. Now, moving on to some of the more personal things, but how did you come up with your design in VRChat and your overall like character, which you represent yourself in?
Uh, my character keeps designing's changed minds, but the best way to say it is when I got this character like Neptune from Hyperdimension, I originally got it because I really liked the game, and I used to do like voice like work. I would like mess around with hobbyist voice just for fun, like I would just talk like this now and then. I can't do it as well, but like I used to just love doing the funniest voices of different characters, and Neptune's kind of stuck with me because she was like one of the first ones I started really doing voices with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which is why I like using her character as much. and it also helps me. It's weird to say, but when I'm in a character like Neptune, it makes it easier for me to talk to people because I get versed in how she acts. She's very hyper in a lot of her things and
Mm-hmm.
like very open.
Yeah.
So it's weird to say, but it actually makes it easier for me to talk when I'm like that. I just don't feel comfortable elsewise.
Mm.
Like when I'm not with some sort of character sometimes.
Mm. That makes sense. It helps feel detached the kind of emotions and anxiety of it in a way. But speaking on the voice acting part, have you voice acted in any projects or any like
I have
series?
not voice acted any official projects. Most of mine is just hobbyist.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, most of the stuff even before Celeste, like I said, was just for fun. I used to just to do voices, just like to see people's reactions, to see what they thought. Like I just always find it fun to see people laugh and smile. So like that's mostly why I do most things. I like, especially back then. I don't really get anything from doing it either. I just like to be see people smile.
I mean,
It makes me happy whenever people are happy.
you do still get something back, even if you don't realize it. You kind of get the satisfaction of bringing people joy, which honestly, in this day of age, can mean the world to people.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who don't have the best lives going on who are sad. And while not everyone likes what I do, I am proud that I can make some people's days with the stuff I do. It
No.
makes me happy that I might have helped someone who was going through a rough time
Mm.
just by being my goofy self and doing wacky things.
Mm. Yeah, no, I'm sure you've helped hundreds, if not thousands, with a mixture of the stuff you do and stuff working with Celeste and the TGR. So you can take a bit of
No,
pride from that, I'm sure.
a little bit.
But
At the end of the day, as long as people smile, I smile.
yeah, I can certainly agree. Now, I know you've had to build up Celeste, and you briefly mentioned Python, but when did you start learning to code? And are there any what major issues have you had over the years while coding?
Originally, before Celeste, I used to I used to work in other languages, not as much as Celeste. I used to work in like Lua and stuff and dabble with other programming languages. But after like the other thing stopped, I stopped caring about. Well, I didn't stop caring. I just stopped programming in it. And then when I saw Celeste, a lot of the stuff that needed for Celeste to run was in
Mm-hmm.
Python, and it just wouldn't work in Lua, at least not easily. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna like brave it and start trying to learn a new language.
Mm-hmm.
And over time, while fiddling with stuff, I started realizing there were similarities between the languages, and I started picking up on it more and more.
Yeah.
And I just kept improving as time goes on. I'm still improving to this day because I'm not perfect. There's still some things I'd want to change still, but I get better each time I experiment. So she's not only just for fun, but she's also like how I learn more because I get a problem and I try to challenge it.
Mm-hmm. No, makes sense. And I know this is going to be jumping around a little bit, but I'm aware of the Great Council. Uh, What has the Great Council got planned for the future, or anything in the works?
Well, it's the same thing, kind of like that. The Grand Council isn't too much different from the main one. That's mostly just there so we can kind of keep track of who's like moderator for people. So like when we're in our instances, they know who they can talk to if something's going wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Because unfortunately, with something like Celeste and the things that we do tend to attract negative people too, which we have to constantly be alert of
Mm-hmm.
because they'll obviously try to make Celeste do something bad or they're just annoy people in general. So I try to build like a foundation that people can say, "Oh, I'm in a TGR instance. I know one. There's a staff there because they have the staff to like." Um, it just makes it easier for people to approach, so they know who is who if
Yeah.
they constantly go there. Because we usually get a lot of regulars on top of like the random people who just kind of pop in.
Mm-hmm. No, makes sense. I just didn't know if there was anything further in the backgrounds or anything you had planned.
It's not
Mm.
too deep, but it's mostly just so people know who they can talk to.
Mm.
Because the one thing I want to do with like with my community, because I don't, not every community is like this, but I notice there's a lot of communities who do this, but I don't communicate enough with people, and I want to be able to communicate. I want to be able to talk to someone kind of like this, so I can talk to them one on one, not like from like 50 feet above them.
Yeah.
So I try to stay more on the like the same table as them because I don't want to put myself above people. I
Yeah.
want to be part of the conversation. I want to be someone you could say, "Oh yeah, how's your day?" Like I don't want people to be afraid of me
Mm-hmm.
or afraid to talk to me.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. It humanizes you a lot more, which honestly is why I do what I do. So,
It's
hmm?
speaking of that, there's a reason also because like since I work on a lot of this AI stuff, people sometimes think that like people tend to dehumanize me because they don't like my work sometimes.
Mm.
So like I like that's also why I like the same like downloads too because it helps people remember that hey, you don't have to like my stuff, but you like I'm still a human at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You still I still want to be treated like a person.
Mm.
Heck, I won't even like kick or ban anyone if they don't like Celeste. Like I'll just say okay, you just block her. Like there's a block button for a reason. You
Mm.
don't like her. Like I'm not gonna be like another like other developers who might get mad at you or start screaming at you. I'm just gonna say, all right, you're free to not like it, just as long as you don't come in and start disrupting it and or start yelling at other people.
Yeah.
I don't care what you do. I just want everyone to have fun. If you don't have fun with it, that's you.
Mm. That makes sense. You find there's no point causing causing any issues if you don't like something. You don't like something. There's no point making someone like something either.
hmm As long as they don't hurt anyone else, like they don't start yelling at me, my staff, or people just trying to actually like have fun with it, I don't mind. Like, just don't be an asshole, basically. Best way to say it.
Mm. I mean, I can certainly agree to those very simple morals. It's something which hopefully people should follow too, but sadly you don't always aren't able to get that.
Most do, but there are people who don't.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like I said, a lot of anti-AI people who they see something like people using AI for AI art or doing all this stuff, and they think all the technology is evil. It's all like bad, or they think Celeste is a spy bot for another country, or they think that she's recording for the FBI, which she is not. But
Mm-hmm.
it's just crazy when people think that stuff. But I was just like, they can think whatever they want at the end of the day, as long as they don't bother me.
Mm-hmm. Now, what keeps you motivated to do what you do with your work?
Because as I work on my stuff, besides the smiles, I also notice that more developers also get interested in this tech. And ever since Celeste has existed, she's not the first, but she's one of the more like few that's first started.
Mm-hmm.
Um, more people who see her start making their own things and start experimenting with the tech. And I like seeing new developers put their own spin on things or maybe make improvements that even I didn't think about.
Mm.
Um, I like the community behind the idea of like people getting interest in this stuff and just improving it because they think they see something that might work better. And then who knows, maybe they might get tips from me or I might even get tips from them and I'm just like, yeah, it's kind of works for both.
Mm.
I can tell you like I've given tips to many people and I've even asked some people, "Hey, how'd you do this thing?" and like it's very good communication.
Mm-hmm.
Um it's specifically why I like my community the most because most of the people in my community do talk, a lot of the bot people, but the other communities that we split off because we did actually split off from another community because I didn't agree with where they were taking the scene.
Mm.
Um, they kind of are a little bit more hostile,
Mm.
so I don't really like approaching them,
Mm.
and I try to distance myself because I want to build a community that's more friendly and
Yeah.
kind of goes against everything I want to be around there. So I just like I can't do it.
Mm.
So that's why I like it though, because the community I'm trying to build is kind of following what I want. More friendly interaction. Like there is some competition, don't mind that.
Mm.
Like but it's healthy competition. It's not like actually at each other's throats competition.
Yeah. I mean, you find it helps a lot with the open and honest communication. and actually trying to work together, because you find, as you've said yourself, you'll find different solutions to problems you might not even thought of.
Hmm.
Now,
I've learned so many things from other people, and other people learn things from me. It's not even a challenge. Basically, it's the best way to keep improving. You
mm,
find out what you did wrong, or you tell someone if they did something wrong, and it kind of helps out each other.
yeah, 100% agree with that personally. But is there any dream projects that you would wish to do?
Currently, I don't have too many far plans beyond Celeste because I'm trying to keep. I don't like thinking about too many projects because I don't want to. I have ADHD, so like my brain tends to overthink. And if
Mm,
I think about too many projects, I'll be thinking like 10 yards ahead when I need to think of the now.
yeah.
Um, but I do. If I had to say, I would like to try to improve not just Celeste in general, but I would like to also maybe expand how many bots I have because I have the ability to run multiple bots right now,
Mm,
but I want to get her software more stable and improve it a little bit more before I consider expanding. I want to maybe have bots either the same like her or maybe different personalities. That way it's not just one person can talk to her at a time, but multiple people across maybe different instances maybe,
yeah.
which would be fun. And it would also expand her reach to people.
Mm. And who has or is inspiring you to do what you do?
Honestly, I don't really have anyone inspiring me anymore. After I kind of separated from the other community, I kind of had to start becoming my own inspiration because there's not many real bots in VRChat. There's only like a select few like actually real
Mm,
because there's been a lot of faking people faking being gay for some reason recently. Um, so whenever I want to continue, I look at what I currently have and I try to think, what could I do better? What can I do to improve the likelihood someone will become our friend or have a smile? And
mm.
I use that as inspiration to try to keep improving myself and improving what I do.
No, it makes perfect sense. I understand, but it's good to see that you are your own inspiration and you can build upon it and work more to help yourself. Now, final question I always like to ask people: is there anyone you would suggest for me to interview in the future, or you'd find interesting to learn more about?
I mean, besides the other bot developers, there's not too many people I can think off the top of my head because I don't really go to too many other communities except for mine, and unless I go to events and
Mm-hmm.
um I guess the only one maybe I'd recommend is maybe other botos in my community. If you want, you could also go to the other one. Just that's gonna be fun.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the some of the people in my server, while they don't have as much hardware or software, some of them are probably more skilled than me and have their own bots coming out that could be or could not be better.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to kind of say maybe them because they deserve to be shouted out too. Because currently, besides the other bots that are more popular, there's like one that's kind of more popular, but I don't like the idea of just hogging the spotlight. Like I said, I want friendly competition, and I don't mind pointing towards the direction of people who also work hard like me on their stuff
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like some people in my server don't have enough recognition myself. So I feel like it's only fair to mention that.
No, that's perfectly respectable. I honestly appreciate the answer, but thank you for watching. Thank you, operator, for your time. Make sure to check out those over at The Great Religion. They do a lot of good work. If you're interested in any of the AI stuff, feel free to go check
Yes,
them
we
out.
do lots of cool Terminators. I mean, friendly companions.
Mm-hmm. I look forward to the next generation of spy birds. Look forward to when they come out. Thank you very much.
Ah, yes. Don't worry, they'll be coming out in your local army soon.
I look forward to it. But thank you all. Hope you have a wonderful evening. Take care Once again, thank you, operator. Bye bye.